really a delight to have you here inside the new Swan Theater. This is a first ever seminar, if you will, and we've called it Merchant Revealed. The idea here is that we are going to take you through some special places in the play, give you some things to look for or listen to, talk a little bit about how we put this production together and why it looks and sounds the way it does. So I've invited 6 of the incredible members of our ensemble for really both plays, because all of our actors are in both plays, aside from Sean Span, who's hiding behind his script because he wouldn't do both shows this year. But we loved him enough to let him do the one. And I think we'll just take a moment and have the actors introduce themselves and the roles they play so that you can get to know them a little bit. But before we do that, how many of you have seen our production? All right. How many are coming tonight? Whoa, fantastic. So that was the idea, in a sense, was to give those of you that are coming to see it a preview. And for those of you that have seen it, maybe some things to think about. Maybe you're coming back or you wondered. Okay, so Greg.
Hi, I'm Greg Unger. I'm playing Shylock.
Hi, I'm...
Yeah, hold your applause till they're all done.
Hi, I'm Sean Span. I play Antonio and Tubal.
Hey, I'm Ryan Imhoff. I'm playing Bassanio.
Hello, I'm Hope Andrew-Jack. I'm playing Portia.
Hi, I'm Crystal, and I play Jessica.
Hi, I'm Abel Garcia. I'm playing Lancelot Gabo.
All right, there you go. Now, there you go. Good. Good. And I'm Eli Simon. I play the director. Okay, so. All right, so we're going to take you through some specific moments in the play in the hopes of illuminating some of what's special about the play itself and also, of course, our production. I think we're not going to do questions and answers as we go, because if we did, we would probably not get past page 1. All right? Some of the actors also have to get into costume soon, so it's a reason we have to kind of keep things moving. But once they depart, I'll be here, and I'm happy to chat with you and hopefully answer any questions you have, or just say, I don't know. Ask Julia. Okay, so The Merchant of Venice is a roller coaster of emotions. It is a brilliantly constructed hybrid of romance, comedy, and tragedy. And you will see all of those elements at play in probably any production you see, but certainly in ours, we didn't want to lean it in one direction. We wanted to get that mix and see what happened. We begin our production with a melding of the Venetian carnival world and a Jewish candle lighting ceremony. This is something that Julia had talked about earlier in the afternoon. It's a prologue that I added to the show and which you'll see tonight if you're coming. We're not going to show this to you because we don't have all of the actors on stage that are in it, and we don't really have our sound ready to play yet. The idea here was to introduce the disparate energies in the play and the people that populate Venice side by side. So you've got the Venetians, the Christians, and then up top you've got this candlelight ceremony with Shylock and his daughter Jessica. At the same time, Jessica, Shylock's daughter, has already made a plan to run away with Lorenzo, a Venetian. So we set all of that in motion in the prologue. It's something to look for. Toward the end of the prologue, you'll see Jessica. You'll see Lorenzo standing here with his arm extended, and Jessica over here gazing at him. They're clearly interested in each other, and Shylock takes her out. Okay, so this is classified as a comedy. And there's funny stuff in it. There's definitely funny stuff in it. However, to me, it's about the saddest comedy that Shakespeare ever penned. It's super melancholy, and it's seasoned with that. It's really in the script, And I wanted to point out some of the places where you would hear or experience some of that sadness. So we begin really with the play with this sentiment from Antonio, who is the actual merchant of Venice. Many people think that Shylock is the merchant of Venice. He's not. He's like the moneylender of Venice. But Antonio is the merchant, and he starts out at the very top of the play saying this.
In sooth, I know not why I am so sad it wearies me. You say it wearies you, but how I caught it, found it, or came by it, what stuff 'tis made of, whereof it is born, I am to learn. And such a want-wit sadness makes of me that I have much ado to know myself.
Interesting way to start a comedy. I'm just saying, right? So, I mean, Shakespeare was brilliant in the way that he mixed emotions. And he often will start a comedy on a very serious note, so it has some gravitas. I just think that it's a remarkable passage, and we can guess at his sadness. He's in love with Bassanio, who's actually played by Ryan, sitting right next to him, and he cannot fully express his love. And his love is also being threatened by the very woman that he is giving money to Bassanio to woo. He's also a racist, and that can't make him very happy. I mean, he goes out and spits on people, calls them dogs, and kicks them. So I don't feel like that would bring much happiness to his life. That's just me. Okay, in the very next scene, we meet Portia, who's the heroine of our drama. She lives in Belmont, which is a beautiful seaside place, and she echoes Antonio's depressive sentiments. And you may wish tonight to notice that she is actually sitting on the same casket and in the same position that Antonio was in. This is deliberate. And it's the first that we meet of her, she says.
By my troth, Nerissa, my little body's a-weary of this great world.
And Nerissa says, you would be, sweet madam, if your miseries were in the same abundance as your good fortunes are.
I can easier teach 20 what were good to be done than be one of the 20 to follow mine own teaching. This reasoning is not in the fashion to choose me a husband. Me, the word choose. I may neither choose whom I would, nor refuse whom I dislike. So is the will of a living daughter curbed by the will of a dead father. Is it not hard, Nerissa, that I cannot choose one, nor refuse none?
So we can see that she's in a same kind of bummer that Antonio is in. And I just find that kind of fascinating, again, for a comedy. She's as trapped in her emotional, sad state as Antonio. And Jessica, played by Crystal Kim, Shylock's daughter, bespeaks the sadness that has enveloped her life. Here, she is talking to her best friend and confidant, Lancelot, who is the fool of the play. They're best friends.
I am sorry thou wilt leave my father so. Our house is hell, and thou, a merry devil, didst rob it of some taste of tediousness.
There's a lot in that passage. But did you catch it? Our house is hell. It's a sad place. Why does she leave? She's not too happy with life. So you want to watch her very carefully in this production. As I said, she doesn't have a lot of lines, but her actions really impact the trajectory of the story. So we're now in the Shylock scene with Tubal. Tubal's an elder in the Jewish community, and again, there's a lot of pain expressed in this scene.
How now, Tubal, hast thou found my daughter?
I often came where I did hear of her, but cannot find her.
Why? There. A diamond. Gone? Cost me 2,000 ducats in Frankfurt. The curse never fell upon our nation till now. I never felt it till now. 2,000 ducats in that, and other precious jewels. I would my daughter were dead at my foot and the jewels in her ear. Would she were cursed at my foot and the ducats in her coffin. No news of them. Why so? And I know not what's spent in the search. Aye, thou, loss upon loss. A thief gone with so much, and so much to find a thief, and no satisfaction, no revenge, nor no ill luck stirring but with lights on my shoulders, no sighs but of my breathing, no tears but of my shedding.
Loss upon loss is a central theme of the play. And later in the scene, Tubal tells Shylock that his daughter has sold his dead wife's ring.
One of them showed me a ring he had of your daughter for a monkey.
Out upon her. It was my turquoise. I had it of Leah when I was a bachelor. I would not have given it for a wilderness of monkeys.
But Antonio is certainly undone.
Nay, that's true.
Good, and that's where his emotions start to turn. But profound sadness, and Tubal, I happen to love and just wanted to say, Tubal torturist me turquoise. Just beautiful, beautiful alliteration there. Later in the play, Jessica, having run away from her father, Shylock, articulates her sadness in a scene with her lover, Lorenzo. She has this beautiful line. It's a kind of standalone line amidst a lot of poetry that he's reciting.
I am never merry when I hear sweet music.
It's a profoundly sad line and beautiful. And then at the end of the play, in Act 5, Portia closes down the proceedings with this set of lines.
This night, methinks, is but the daylight sick. Looks a little paler. 'Tis a day such as the day is when the sun is hid.
Okay, now that we have you thoroughly depressed, it's a weaving, it's a through line, and it's worth listening to. And there are many other instances of melancholy and heightened laughter, joy, and love in the play. I think it's anchored by sadness. Now we're going to move on to another theme that I've worked really hard at illuminating in the play. And Crystal's taking off to get into costume, so thank you, Crystal Kim. Okay, and this is the topic of duplicity. It's something that I intentionally accentuated, really the duplicity of the Venetians. So early on in the play, when you meet Lancelot Gobbo, he is essentially stuck between heaven and hell, between listening to his conscience and the devil. He doesn't know which of his mind's advisors to obey, and he has this brilliant passage.
Certainly my conscience will serve me to run from this Jew, my master. The fiend is at mine elbow and tempts me, saying to me, Gobbo, Lancelot Gobbo, good Lancelot, or good Gobbo, or good Lancelot Gobbo. Use your legs, take the start, run away. My conscience says, no! Take heed, honest Lancelot. Take heed, honest Gobbo. Or as aforesaid, honest Lancelot Gobbo. Do not run. Scorn running with thy heels. Well, the most courageous fiend bids me pack. Via, says the fiend. Away, says the fiend. For the heavens rouse up a brave mind, says the fiend, and run. Well, my conscience, hanging about the neck of my heart, says very wisely to me, Lancelot. Budge not! Budge, says the fiend. Budge not, says my conscience. Conscience, say I. You counsel well. Fiend, say I. You counsel well. To be ruled by my conscience, ting 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 ting, I should stay with the Jew, my master. And to run away from the Jew, I should be ruled by the fiend. Ting 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 ting. My conscience is but a kind of hard conscience to offer to counsel me to stay with the Jew. The fiend gives the more friendly counsel. I will run, fiend. My heels are at your commandment. Run. I will run.
So here we feel the pull of bipolar energies, yes? What do I do? And we've all felt pulled by the devil or the angel, that they sit on our shoulders and try to get the better of us. So Shakespeare's really making clear, in a sense, that decision-making is a slippery slope and that nothing is exactly as it seems. What should we do? What's right? What is wrong? So let's continue to take a look at duplicity and this idea of things shifting, persona shifting, definition shifting. Both Shylock and Antonio accuse each other of not being who they seem to be. When he is asking Shylock for money, Antonio accuses him of duplicity.
When Jacob grazed his uncle Laban's sheep, this Jacob from our holy Abram was.
And what of him? Did he take interest?
No, not take interest. Not, as you would say, directly interest. Mark you what Jacob did.
Mark you this, Bassanio. The devil can cite scripture for his purpose. An evil soul producing holy witness is like a villain with a smiling cheek. A goodly apple rotten at the heart. What a goodly outside falsehood hath.
Goodly outside, falsehood. And later in the scene, Shylock calls Antonio out for being duplicitous.
Signor Antonio, many a time and oft in the Rialto, you have rated me about my monies and my usances. Still have I borne it with a patient shrug, for sufferance is the badge of all our tribe. You call me misbeliever, cutthroat dog, and spit upon my Jewish gabardine, and all for use of that which is mine own. Well, it now appears you need my help. Go to then. You come to me and you say, Shylock, we would have monies. You say so. You that did void your room upon my beard, and foot me as you spurn a stranger cur over your threshold. Monies is your suit. What should I say to you? Should I not say, hath a dog money? Is it possible a cur can lend 3,000 ducats? Or shall I bend low, and in a bondman's key, with bated breath and whispering humbleness, say this, fair sir, you spit on me Wednesday last, you spurned me such a day, another day you called me dog. For these courtesies, I'll lend you thus much monies.
There you go. So, right. Here we have two men that claim to see the hidden truth of the other in the same scene, and they have convincing arguments. Now, in our production, Bassanio, who's our romantic lead, Ryan Imhoff, uses the money Antonio gives him. He takes that money to disguise himself as Portia's suitors. So he plays all three suitor scenes. First, he's the Prince of Morocco, and then he's the Prince of Aragon, and this is more duplicity, of course. How did I arrive at this decision? Well, many of the lines in the play lead directly to it. First, he speaks of his persistence in following a simple course of action. This is when we first meet him, and he's talking to Antonio. Yeah, you can come out.
Yeah, okay. In my school days, when I had lost one shaft, I shot his fellow of the self-same flight, the self-same way, with more advised watch to find the other forth, and by adventuring both, I oft found both. I urge this childhood proof, because what follows is pure innocence. I owe you much, and like a willful youth, that which I owe is lost. But, if you please to shoot another arrow, that self-way which you did shoot the first, I do not doubt, as I will watch the aim, or to find both, or bring your latter hazard back again, and thankfully rest debtor for the first.
So here we see that Bassanio is dogged and will stop at nothing to achieve success. And if at first he doesn't succeed, he will try again. So disguising himself aligned Bassanio with my view of the Venetians as duplicitous gamblers. And his lines divide beautifully between the princes that he plays disguised. Obviously, he won't be disguised right now because we don't have our costumes. But he plays the princes, and then he kind of comes out of disguise to be himself. So first, we're going to hear just a little bit of Morocco.
I pray you, lead me to the caskets to try my fortune.
By the scimitar that slew the Sophie and a Persian prince, I would outstare the sternest eyes that look. Outbrave the heart most daring on the earth. Pluck the young sucking cub from the she-bear. Yea, mark the lion when he roars for prey. Who is he, lady?
Keep going. Do a little. Do the next Bassanio part if you could, but it'll last a while. Yeah.
Great, okay.
Go. Why don't you take it back to yea, mock the lion.
I don't want to scream. So
Okay. All right. Good. Okay.
It's windy, lady. But alas, a while. So may I, blind fortune leading me, miss that which one unworthier may attain, and die with grieving.
You must take your chance, and either not attempt to choose at all, or swear before you choose. If you choose wrong, never to speak to lady afterward in way of marriage. Therefore be advised.
Okay. So that's a little piece of Morocco. Obviously, you need to have a wild and crazy actor playing the role, a guy that's kind of willing to take big risks and swing way out. So now we're going to give you a little piece of the Aragon prince, and we'll start with "Behold, there stand the caskets."
Behold, there stands the caskets, noble prince.
I am enjoined by oath to observe three things. First, never to unfold to anyone which casket 'twas I chose. No. Next, if I fail of the right casket, never in my life to woo a maid in way of marriage. Lastly, if I do fail in fortune of my choice, immediately to leave you and be gone. Bye-bye.
These injunctions everyone doth swear that comes to hazard for my worthless self.
And so have I addressed me. Fortune now to my heart's hope. Gold, silver, and the base lead.
All right. So that's a little bit of the second prince. Yes. And so by the time he arrives as himself, he knows exactly where the portrait is. He knows it's in the lead casket. Of course, he hasn't disclosed at this point that he's pretended to be the other princes. So we want to listen very, very carefully to Portia and Bassanio's lines here. You'll hear them speak of treason, mistrust, and confession, things that are very much on their minds at this point in time, and also issues that we've brought up with these decisions in the play.
Let me choose, for as I am, I live upon the rack.
Upon the rack, Bassanio? And confess what treason there is mingled with your love.
None. But that ugly treason of mistrust which makes me fear the enjoying of my love. There may as well be amity in life between snow and fire as treason and my love.
Aye, but I fear you speak upon the rack, where men enforced do speak anything.
Promise me life, and I'll confess the truth.
Well then confess and live.
Confess and love had been the very sum of my confession. Oh, happy torment, when my torturer doth teach me answers for deliverance. But let me to my fortune in the caskets.
Away then! I am locked in one of them. If you do love me, you will find me out. Let music sound. Well, he doth make his choice. Then, if you lose, he makes a swan-like end, fading in music. That the comparison may stand more proper, my eye shall be the stream and watery deathbed for him. Go, Hercules. Live thou, I live. With much, much more dismay I view the fight than thou that makest the fray.
So may the outward shows be least themselves. The world is still deceived with ornament. Here choose I! Joy be the consequence.
So may the outward shows be least themselves. The world is still deceived by ornament. So, if we follow the doubling and the tripling of Bassanio to the concluding act, Act 5, we'll hear the following lines. So pay attention, because following Portia's tricking of Bassanio to give away the marriage ring she had made him swear to keep forever, there are some very interesting lines to hear.
What ring gave you, my lord? Not that, I hope, which you received of me.
If I could add a lie unto a fault, I would deny it. But you see my finger hath not the ring upon it. It is gone.
Even so void is your false heart of truth. By heaven, I'll ne'er come in your bed until I see this ring.
So even is your false heart devoid of truth. And a tad later in the scene, listen to these lines that illuminate Bassanio's deceitful nature. It's Portia, forgive these enforced wrongs.
Portia, forgive me these enforced wrongs, and in the hearing of these many friends, I swear to thee, e'en by thine own fair eyes, wherein I see myself.
Mark you but that. In both my eyes, he doubly sees himself. In each eye one. Swear by your double self, and there's an oath of credit.
Nay, but hear me. Pardon these faults, and by my soul I swear I never more will break an oath with thee.
That's great. And then can you just repeat, mark you but that, those lines, and kind of give it to the audience a little bit?
Mark you but that. In both my eyes, he doubly sees himself. In each eye one. Swear by your double self, and there's an oath of credit.
Those are the lines that actually led me to the doubling. Swear by your double self, and there's an oath of credit. In each eye he sees me, doubly. So, that's a little bit about doubling, duplicity, and this untrustworthy nature of these gamblers. We're going to talk a little bit now about bonds, because bonds are really what bind this play together, if you will. The bonds examine and interweave ways in which one character is indebted to another character. So again, we'll begin with Bassanio at the beginning of the play. So we're back at the beginning now. We were just at the end. He's asking his friend Antonio, the wealthy merchant, for yet another loan.
In Belmont is a lady, richly left. She is fair, and fairer than that word of wonder is virtue. Sometimes from her eyes I did receive fair speechless messages. Her name is Portia, nor is the wide world ignorant of her worth. For the four winds blowing from every coast renowned suitors, and her sunny locks hang on her temples like a golden fleece, and many Jasons come in quest of her. Oh, Antonio, had I but the means to hold rival place with one of them, I have a mind presages me such thrift that I should questionless be fortunate.
Thou knowst that all my fortunes are at sea. Neither have I money nor commodity to raise the present sum. Therefore go, try what my credit can in Venice do. That shall be racked even to the uttermost, furnish thee to Belmont, the fair Portia. Go, presently inquire, and so will I, where money is. And I no question make to have it of my trust, or for my sake.
He is bound. They are bound together, and bound to Shylock, and bound to Portia as well. So we are going to give you a little bit of the first scene with Shylock, which is all about bonds, and something to listen for and to feel as well as the difference in tempo between Bassanio, who wants the money and he's just ready to get the money and needs to get it and go, and Shylock, who is really taking his time and figuring things out. There's a little bit of, you'll feel tempo friction in this, and it's also about, it's about bonds.
I didn't see where we stopped, so just stop me when we stop.
Sure.
3,000 ducats. Well,
I serve for 3 months.
for 3 months. Well,
For the which, as I told you, Antonio shall be bound.
Antonio shall become bound. Well,
May you stead me? Will you pleasure me? Shall I know your answer?
3,000 ducats for 3 months and Antonio bound.
Your answer to that?
Feel it? Feel the tension? This is actually very difficult for actors, because usually actors use the other actor's energy to create energy for themselves. And here, Ryan has to generate up-tempo kind of by himself, and Greg has to generate a slower cadence by himself. But it's interesting to feel that tension between them and how many times bound comes up. So now we're going to go a little bit later in the scene to This Kindness Will I Show. Listen again, because Shylock is really taking his time. He's deep in rumination, and Bassanio is pressing the issue. He's in a quick tempo mode trying to seek the money.
This kindness will I show. Go with me to a notary. Seal me there your single bond, and in a merry sport, if you repay me not on such a day and such a place, such sum or sums as are expressed in the condition, let the forfeit be nominated for an equal pound of your fair flesh, to be cut off and taken in what part of your body pleaseth me.
Content in faith. I'll seal to such a bond and say there is much kindness in the Jew.
You shall not seal to such a bond for me. I'll rather dwell in my necessity.
I fear not, man. I will not forfeit it. Within these 2 months, that's a month before this bond expires, I do expect return of thrice 3 times the value of his bond.
Oh, Father Abram.
Okay, that's it. That's it. That's good. Yes. So very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So this will probably be our last passage, and then we got to let the actors go. But when things go awry and Shylock is planning to extract his pound of flesh, Bassanio explains his bond to Antonio to Portia. So this is Oh Sweet Portia, Unpleasantest Words section.
Oh, sweet Portia, here are a few of the unpleasantest words that ever blotted paper. Gentle lady, when I did first impart my love to you, I freely told you all the wealth I had. I ran in my veins. I was a gentleman, and then I told you true. And yet, dear lady, rating myself at nothing, you shall see how much I was a braggart. When I told you my state was nothing, I should then have told you that I was worse than nothing, for indeed, I have engaged myself to a dear friend, engaged my friend to his mere enemy to feed my means. Here's a letter, lady, the paper as the body of my friend, and every word in it a gaping wound issuing life blood.
Okay, so there's a lot to hear there, yes? How worthless he feels, how bound he is, and the deep water he's in now, having taken the money in the way that he did. All right, so there's a lot more, but I think we're going to stop here because we really have to let the actors get ready for the show tonight. So how about a round of applause for our actors? Yes? It's truly a pleasure to work with an ensemble that's as talented as this ensemble is. And they say that 95% of directing is casting. Or if you don't get the right cast, you can be brilliant, but you only have about a 5% chance of success. So thank you, actors, and we'll see you tonight.